You are listening to the Maple Footy Podcast, the unofficial football podcast of the North. I'm your host, Sam Little. Find me on socials at SamLittle44 and the podcast at Maple Footy Pod. And now there's nothing left to say except for sit back, enjoy, and welcome to the show.
Hello, yes, and welcome back to the Maple Footy Podcast. And today we have one of the CPL's most exciting young players. He's the second youngest goal scorer ever in Concacaf Champions Cup. Outside of that, he has represented Canada at the U17 and U20 levels. In 2024, he earned the Ontario Young Player of the Season award in League One Ontario after recording 15 goals in 15 matches. This season, he'll be making his return to Forge after a season away. It's an absolute pleasure to welcome KJ Tavernier. So KJ, thank you so much for being here today.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you for having me on here.
Thank you. And so starting this one off, as I do with most of these, what was it about soccer that made you want to get into it at such a young age? What made you want to pursue this sport? And just what was the beginning for you?
Yeah, it was really just the love of the game. You know, I had a sister. She was playing when I was younger, so I'd always go out to her practices, just kick the ball around for fun.
Yeah.
And I was just watching the games on the TV with my dad.
Yeah.
It always just I always just had a passion for it, I think, and it just grew me to love the game more and more every day. So growing up and getting to do this now as like a job is pretty cool. You know,
That's awesome. That's awesome. I love that. I love that the one of the first things you mentioned is the passion, and that's what we love to
yeah.
hear is the straight passion for the sport. And was there a moment that made you really go, okay, I think I can maybe go far with this?
It was really just the first time coming out with this group with Forge when I was back. I think it was in 2023.
Hmm.
I was training with the team. You know, at first it was like, okay, let me just train, see how it goes. But
Yeah.
then I really started to like get acquainted with the group and really started to be a part of the sessions. And once I got the development, I was like, okay, maybe I could really do this for real.
Yeah.
So once I got into like that realm of it, it was like, okay, I really think I can take this serious.
That's awesome, man. And what I really like about that is like once it kind of got serious for you at Forge is when you kind of got serious too. And I
Yeah.
like that's so like, do you think that that really brought out the m more of a maybe competitive nature to try to get to keep going with Forge and to keep going in the pro game?
Yeah, 100%. Forge is a competitive environment.
Yeah.
It brings the best of you every single day. So it was a no-brainer with being with this club that it's gonna elevate your game to another level every single day. So I think it's just just being at Forge is amazing.
Yeah. Awesome. And speaking of like starting out and everything, were there some players that you really looked up to that you like to model your game after, just that you found a lot of inspiration from?
When I was growing up, I think this is a basic answer, but Neymar for sure.
Yeah.
I always watch Neymar. You love like the flair a little bit. You always kind of look at his games before and kind of think, oh, I'm gonna mimic this, do it on the field. Now, as I'm a little older, I kind of look at Dembele a little bit because you see like the different side of it.
Yeah.
I'm a Manchester United fan, so I'd always say Rashford a couple of times.
Fair.
Yeah, there's just a bunch of players that I'd like to model my game off of, but there's
Yeah.
no specific player to be
That's
honest.
awesome. Those are good picks, though. I mean, you say Neymar's basic, but sometimes the basic ones are basic for reasons because,
Yeah,
they're the fun ones to watch.
exactly. Yeah.
And then, of course, you also spent some time with Sigma as well. Can you kind of talk about how Sigma kind of helped shape your game a little bit in early development of your career?
Yeah, I was playing with Sigma as like a 17, 18-year-old. It's kind of playing with men in League One is it just kind of just prepares you for the game in the CPL, I
Yeah.
think a little bit. And going in there, I felt like I had a lot of confidence in the second season. The first season, I kind of really didn't play as much as I'd want to, but in the second season, I was kind of able to kind of make a little bit more of a name for myself there with scoring 15 goals.
Yeah.
And it kind of just felt like I was on form at that point and kind of just had the confidence to say, I can do this.
That's awesome. And you obviously had a lot of success with Sigma, as you just said. 15 goals is that's quite the feat. So what was that transition like from Sigma then moving into Forge?
Um, they made it pretty easy to be honest, because I'd be with Sigma, and then at the same time I'd be training with Forge.
Yeah.
So I kind of get like the best of both worlds, you know. So I'd be training, and then it prepared me to go play in the games with Sigma, and then we kind of connected. So it is kind of just like going from one to the other. So it's
Yeah.
not really much of a difference, but just the sharpness in your mind and quick on your feet. That's the only thing that I really think I had to like lock in on in
Yeah.
order to bring
Yeah, a
this
bit.
stuff.
I guess a little bit quicker at Forge, like the speed of the
Yeah,
game might be a bit
exactly.
quicker with having to be all the sharp and whatnot.
Yeah, exactly. And a little bit more tactical things to think about over
Yes,
at Forge.
absolutely. And then winning an accolade like Ontario Young Player of the Season in League
Mhm.
One Ontario, does that make you even hungrier to keep improving and take steps towards success and just keep improving day in, day out?
Yeah, definitely shows you sky's the limit, and it shows you that your hard work can take you places. Because you know, when you play, you never really play straight for the accolades. The
Yeah,
accolades just follow whenever you do well. So having that under my name now just shows me like if I keep doing what I'm doing and I do it well, then it'll just come and follow, and then who knows what can happen.
that's awesome. I love that. And can you kind of take us through those emotions and the pride of signing your first pro contract at Forge? You know, the moment where you get to put pen to paper and it's
Mhm.
official, you're a pro.
Yeah, it was a great feeling, you know, because I've been in the environment before. I know what it's like. So it was kind of a no-brainer to come sign here,
Yeah.
and having the trust of Bobby and the rest of the staff and the guys in the locker room. It's just a great feeling to know that I get to come and fight for these guys week in, week out.
Yeah, I love that. And something else I really liked while I was, looking up everything and whatnot was, you of course have represented Canada at the U17 World Cup, and I have some questions about that because that's just so cool. Not many people can say that they've done that. So what was that experience like of getting to represent Canada at that stage?
It's a great experience. It's something that will live with me for the rest of my life, no doubt. Getting to put on the maple leaf, it's one people can only dream of.
Yeah,
So to actually get to live that out and to do it at a world stage as the World Cup U17, it was a great achievement for myself. Tournament didn't go as planned, but
yeah,
nonetheless, we're at a world stage playing with a bunch of incredible players. So that kind of just help put a name out for yourself. But
yeah.
on the other hand, it's just another thing that you're looking at from when you're a little kid. It's just like I can't believe I'm here.
Yeah, one of
So
those like a pinch me moment in a sense, right? Of
exactly,
like,
yeah.
yeah. And what did that tournament kind of show you about being in the game at some of those highest levels? You know,
Mm.
the obviously you alluded that it didn't go the way it planned, but there was still a lot of positives for yourself personally and then for the team as well. What do you kind of learn in a tournament like that?
Well, it kind of just shows you, for me at least, it shows that we're not too far off. Like the
Yeah.
score lines might have told a different story, but the group, well, if you can ask other guys as well, I think they'll say like, I think we could have competed if this, if that. So
Yeah.
it's not like too big of a level, but it also shows you what it is to be there. Because a
Yeah.
lot of the guys now are playing in Europe somewhere, and you could probably find a lot of the guys there. But yeah, it just shows you that it's possible, you know,
Yeah.
to get out there, and it's just a stepping stone.
That's awesome. And can you kind of take us through those emotions of finding out when you were first called up to these squads? Because I'm sure that those phone calls or text messages, however you find out that news, was it like getting that news and being like, oh my gosh, like this is happening?
Yeah, I don't even remember what exactly happened,
Yeah.
but I think we had a game. I think we had a game with Forge the week before I found out,
Yeah.
and then coming back from the game, I got the text or the email, whatever, and I was just like, "Oh my god!" I just got called up. I wasn't 100% sure if it was gonna happen or not,
Yeah.
but I was just always checking my phone because like, is the text gonna come? Is the text gonna come? And when it finally came, it was kind of like a sigh of relief, but then also had that little exciting feeling. I'm like, yes, I'm going to this.
Yeah.
Let me make it the best experience. Yeah. So,
No, it's awesome. I love how you said about like you keep on checking your phone because that's just
yeah,
like so valid. Anytime you're waiting for like that big text or big email, it feels
anytime.
like it's never gonna come. And then it
Yeah,
finally does, and you
exactly.
have that amazing sigh of relief, right?
Yeah, exactly.
And then, of course, can you speak a little bit about the pride of getting to represent the country at both the U17 and the U20 levels?
Yeah, it's like I said, it's something you dream about is when you're a kid.
Yeah.
So U20s, I think a little better experience because we won all of our games and I got to put a couple in the back of the net.
Yes. Yes.
But nonetheless, whenever you put on that maple leaf, it gives you an extra boost to just go run on the field. You're just working for something bigger.
Yeah.
It's kind of what you feel like in a sense.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And you alluded to it, so I'm going to skip a couple questions ahead to this one. You, of course, did score a couple goals for the U20s, which is pretty awesome.
Mhm.
What was that like when the ball hits the back of the net and you're celebrating? Like, is that just a wave of just adrenaline and just pure joy overtaking you, of that
Mhm.
you got the goals and now it's amazing?
Yeah, to be honest, in the moment, you don't really think about it, or
Yeah.
at least for me. When the ball hit the back of the net, it's just like, where's the camera? Where's this? Where's the corner flag? Where's my guys? I'm just running. There's nothing really in my mind. But then after, when you really think and look back on it, it's like, wow, I really scored for Canada.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It's just a funny but great moment at the same time.
That's awesome. And then of course, what was it like getting to make your debut at those levels of just like, I'm sure that all the hard work and all the hours on the pitch, off the pitch, the drives to training facilities and everything, getting to make your debut for Canada at those youth levels. Like, what are you thinking about in those moments as the national anthem's kind of playing and you're like, it's happening?
Yeah, to be honest, everything in that moment is just a blur. You
Yeah.
just, like I said, and on the field, you don't really think much about that. But then after you get to reminiscing, you get to thinking back about all the hours, like you were saying, all the times parents have brought me to training, and you just think about it. I'm really here
Yeah.
at this stage and getting able to do this. So truly blessed to be able to
Awesome.
do that.
That's so good. And then, of course, players like yourself, young Canadian players, getting a chance to develop at the pro level in this environment are one of the main reasons why Canada has the CPL. And I just wanted to ask you, a young Canadian player, how important it is to play in the CPL and how important this is like for players even younger than yourself for something to look up to and strive towards to playing in the CPL one day.
Yeah, it's a place to develop nonetheless, but it's giving you a place in your backyard to want to win trophies,
Yeah.
and we're at a club that does it so well. So
Yes.
it's not you can't ask for nothing better to just be here in your backyard, not have to go too far, come to work every day, put the work in, and then reap the results later in the week when you play games on the weekend.
Awesome. And then a little segment I like to do is a couple fun questions here for you. So I have a few in a row here. So if you could choose a front three that you could play with, so you're right wing, and we'll see if
Mhm.
you could choose a striker and a left wing to pair with you in world football, excluding teammates, who are you choosing?
Including teammates.
Yes.
Right now, I would have to go Harry Kane up top,
Valid.
and then on the left wing. Oh, that's a tough one. There's a lot of
I know there's so many good left wingers right now.
so many. Uh, I'm gonna go. Does Luis Diaz play on the left wing?
Yes.
I'm gonna go Luis Diaz. That's a left field one, but I'll do Luis Diaz.
That's a good shout though. He's having an unreal season.
He's having a great season. There's a lot of other guys that you could definitely put in that position,
Yeah,
but
but
that's
that
the one.
that's a proper front three though. That's a
Yeah,
proper front
or
three.
or Vinicius. That's the one I was forgetting.
There you
Vinicius.
go. So Vinicius, we'll put Vinicius on the bench. He's the first one off the bench, and then that's your front
Yeah,
three.
yeah.
Something else. Do you have any pregame rituals, pre-match superstitions, anything like that?
To be honest, I think the only one I've caught myself doing is always putting my right boot on
Yeah.
before my left boot and then tying my left before my right boot.
Oh, wow.
Interesting. I don't know. I don't know
That's
what made
interesting.
me do it, but that's something I've always done. Training games, yeah, never do it, and then always having to listen to music.
That's interesting. What song are you always playing? Is there a song that you go to, or is it just different every time?
It's just a different variety of things. It's never really it changes week in, week out. I can't really, yeah.
Valid. Um, what's a favorite football memory of yours, just as a pure fan watching the sport?
Ooh, I would say watching Canada's first goal.
Yeah,
That would probably be one that sticks out. Yeah, watching it in the World Cup, seeing Davies put in the header
yeah,
after, especially after the first game where he had that miss in the
yeah.
penalty. It was just great to see.
That's awesome. That's my favorite one too. I can't even
Yeah,
lie. I that was that was surreal. I love that pick.
yeah, it
Um,
was amazing.
and one more here because one more of the fun ones I should say. You of course play center forward and right wing, kind of switching between the two every now and then.
Mm.
Does your reading of the game change when you're kind of taking up those different positions?
Yeah, I mean the information that we get in each position is obviously different,
Yeah,
but I feel like when you're on the field, everything just comes natural, so you don't have to think too much. Like you've been doing this for a while, so you kind
yeah,
of just let things come to you, but then you take in the information that you get from the coaching staff and everybody else around you, and you
yeah.
just take that and play with it. But nothing too specific.
Nice.
Yeah,
So trusting yourself and trusting the guys around you.
exactly,
Respect.
exactly.
And then moving in now to some Forge centric ones. Just how great is it to be back at Forge here in Hamilton? A lot of fun, I'm sure, but how great is it to get to come back here?
Nah, it's amazing. Love the stadium, love the fans, love the group. So couldn't have asked to be back. Couldn't be happier to be back. I
Yeah.
should say. I can't wait for the opening day to see everybody back in the stadium.
Yeah.
Can't wait to be out there with the guys, and can't wait to push for another more championships.
Awesome. And then getting to train with players like Becker, Borges, Wright, and many other CPL vets. How much do you relish that opportunity to learn and grow from a lot of those players?
Yeah, every day being out with them just makes you 1% better.
Yeah.
Every you take so much knowledge from them. They've been around for a while. They know what it takes to be winners. So just being out there with them it's just it just helps me so much in my game, and it just makes everything easier on me. So it's great.
No, that's awesome because you get to really kind of be a sponge, I suppose, right? With guys
Yeah,
that have been doing so much for so long, right? So every day, week in, week out, getting to play with them, train with them, I'm sure that's just got to be just pretty
exactly.
awesome.
Yeah, exactly.
And then, of course, I said this in the intro too. You're the youngest Forge goal scorer in the Champions Cup and the second youngest ever. How cool is it to be mentioned in sentences like that?
It's pretty cool. I can't lie.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
I can't lie.
And that
I don't even remember much from that game. I can't lie. Just the goal and just the feelings. Not much. Yeah, it's great. It was a great experience.
No, that's valid because I was my next question was about, what was it like being at that game? But, if you don't, probably pure adrenaline, probably don't remember too
Mhm.
much then.
Yeah, the game was interesting because I think I even remember some guys after the game were telling me like, "Oh, did you hear them booing you in the stadium?" I'm like, I didn't hear nothing. The ball just hit the net, and I turned around. And I'm like, "Yeah," but nah, it was really a great moment. Something I still look on to this day, obviously. But yeah,
Yeah.
I couldn't be happier for that moment.
Yeah. And it was, by the way, I was rewatching it while I was prepping this. Banger. Banger
Thank
of a goal,
you,
man.
thank you, thank you.
And now coming into the last couple questions here, how excited are you to get back to playing this year and how are you feeling ahead of this new season?
I'm excited, man. Can't wait to step out on the field tomorrow. Hamilton Stadium now. Actually, I gotta change that.
No worries.
But yeah, I'm excited to get out there. Excited to be out there with my guys, see all the fans, and I'm expecting to win. That's what Forge always does. So I'm just expecting to contribute to that, to add a little more depth and options in
Mhm.
the front line. But I'm also hoping to put a couple in the back of the net.
Awesome. And then there's, of course, this old saying, you win or you learn. So what do you think Forge learned from their two-legged tie against Tigres, where, of course, they drew 0-0 in Hamilton, then came up a little bit short in Mexico, but still a great result in that first leg nonetheless?
Yeah, I think we learned that we're right there.
Yeah.
First leg, we drew 0-0. Second leg, obviously the score is a little bit bigger than I think the game was in itself. But
Yeah.
as a group, we feel pretty confident if that you give us this game again, we're not gonna lose 3-4-0, whatever we had. I think it'll be a really close game and even could go our way. So
Yeah.
in the end of the day, I think one of these days they're gonna have to. One of these days we're gonna have to take it, and I think it's coming up very soon.
Awesome. I love it. I love it. And what are the vibes kind of like right now at the moment for Forge during this preseason? How amped is everybody getting? What's the training ground like right now?
Yeah, everybody's just working hard. They're loving what we're doing. We're feeling really confident going into the first game. Everybody just can't wait to get out there. Everybody. These are the moments we train for, we play for. So everyone's just anxious a little bit to get out there for the first game and get the season rolling.
Yeah. But excited too, right? Everybody wants to get back on the pitch.
Everyone wants to get back. We're all excited and just feeling good.
That's awesome. And my final one here for you, as is tradition here on Maple Footy. What is
Mhm.
something that you'd like the Forge faithful to know about you ahead of this upcoming season?
One thing I would like them to know about me. I'm a hard worker. I'm always going to be running for you guys on the pitch. I'm always going to try and do my best, and I'm always going to try and put the ball in the back of the net when I can,
Yeah.
create some chances for some other guys.
I love it. I love it. KJ, man, thank you so much. I look forward to watching you this season with Forge. Really enjoy you coming onto the podcast today. Thank you so much for your time, and I'll be cheering you on throughout the rest of this season, and can't wait to see what you and Forge and the guys can all accomplish throughout the 2026 season. So thank you.
Yes, thank you, man. Thank you for having me. It was a pleasure.
Of course. Thank you. Anytime, man. So that does bring to an end this interview with KJ Tavernier. I do hope that you enjoyed it. I hope he enjoyed it. I hope we all enjoyed it. I just want to say a big time thank you to KJ and to Forge for allowing that to happen. KJ was an absolute class act before the interview, after the interview, and of course during the interview, as you did see. He's one of those players I do think could go on and have a breakout season in the CPL. He's young. He's got boatloads of potential, so really going to be cheering him on throughout the season, and I hope you will as well. And outside of that, if you did like this interview on YouTube, we do have an entire playlist of all of our interviews that we have done, so definitely check that out if you would like. I would appreciate it, and I think you definitely enjoy as well. If you're listening to this on a podcasting platform, I would suggest just hopping over to YouTube, listening to the interviews there. It's easier to navigate because there's just a full-on playlist on podcasting platforms. I cannot do that for you, but outside of that, I do hope you enjoyed it. Stick around for more upcoming interviews and more weekly recaps of our Canadian boys and everything else. I think it's going to be a very fun summer, so definitely do stick around and cheer us along. Why not? And thank you so much for listening if you have made it this far. And until next time, cheers, everyone.
And that was your Maple Footy podcast. Thank you so much for listening. Check my socials for any and all future updates. Remember to support Canadian football, be kind, and until next time, live, laugh, little.